How you doing, guys? Big Mate Danskull here again today, back once again with another Orc video for you. Today I'm just going to talk you through where I'm up to on Ghazghkull Thraka. If all goes to plan, I'll put a video over this one, or I'll put my voice over another video, and you'll be able to see Ghazghkull being built. I'm also going to show you the paint job that I've started on Makari here. That's what's spinning around in front of me. I've got a couple of arms here that I want to show you first of all though. So what I'm going to do is just probably go behind the camera, get zoomed in nice and close so you can see Makari spinning, and also show you what I've done with these arms, the way I've built them. So yeah, let's switch camera angle, shall we? So as you can see in front of you, I've started the flesh and some of the reds on Makari. Basically I started the reds because I needed to paint his eyes before I started painting the flesh. This is all contrast paint, by the way, the work I've done so far. It's not actually glued down to the base as well as just blue tacked on there. But I painted his eyes in flesh Chara's red, and then I had the red paint out and some red paint to use, so I thought I'd paint those little bits of sort of tattered material coming off the banner. And I painted the central square on the bottom of the banner as well. And then for the flesh, you can see it's like not quite green all over. The flesh I painted first with dark oath flesh, not all of it, but certain areas that are going to be a little bit warmer. I watered it down 50-50 more or less with contrast medium, and then painted it over the nose, around the mouth area, the sort of cheeks just below the eyes, the knuckles, shoulders, and like up and around the top of the shoulders, and then a little bit down the bottom of the spine as well. And then I went in with a plague bearer flesh on the face and certain areas where there's a little bit more, when I wanted it to look a little lighter, like the face and the hands basically. And then some militarum green over the back. And it was all thinned down roughly about 50-50, but you know, I kind of winged it. I didn't really go in too much. And then I got some dark oath flesh again because I thought the back wasn't looking very fleshy, very sort of natural and Caucasian-y sort of flesh tones. There was no real Caucasian flesh tones on the back when I put the militarum green over there. So I went back in with some dark oath flesh mixed with water, roughly 50-50, just to provide a wash into those recess areas. You can use the contrast paints as a wash if you mix them with water, but if you want to thin them down and use them as a paint, you're better mixing them with a contrast medium because it keeps the consistency then, but just spreads the pigment out over a greater area, so it reduces the saturation basically. It's interesting sort of experimenting and learning as you go with these contrast paints. I find it interesting anyway. I think some people initially wrote them off straight away because they weren't really sure what they were for, the contrast paints, but myself, I've been having a lot of fun learning with them basically. I'm going to show you Ghazghkull's fists now, and you can get a closer look at how I've prepped them ready to paint. In front of you, you should be able to see Ghazghkull's two fists and his arms. This one is obviously the power claw fist, and this one is the gun fist. And I've built them, and it looks like I can't really get to the arms there to paint them, but I've built them to the point where you can separate them. They stick together nicely. So what I'm probably going to do is undercoat them as they are, and then touch up any areas on the arms I need to with an undercoat. And then I'll be able to paint them with contrast paints then, without worrying about getting my paint in between the armour panels and stuff. And I've done exactly the same with this arm. I built it up, and then that piece comes off there, so the thumb and the outer bit come off, and you see the sort of palm of the hand and the claws, the finger claws, stay attached, and they just go back together nice and easy. So I can just pull that off, paint all the flesh, and then pop that back on, and I'll be able to glue it in place. I'll probably put some either liquid mask or some blue tack over it while I'm painting it over certain areas that I want to keep plastic, so I can use plastic glue to glue it back together eventually. Yeah, that's just a little tip for you. If you haven't started building your Ghazghkull yet, you might want to think about doing something like that if you're going to be building him in sub-assemblies. I'd recommend it myself because I think it leaves you more ease of access to certain key areas that you might want to go in with that are going to be difficult to get to if you just build them and glue them all together like that. there you have it, guys. A little bit of a Ghazghkull update for you, where I'm up to with the boss. Future things to come on my channel, though, I'll be making a return at some point in the not too distant future, I hope, to the Big Mac Danskull build that I was working on and had to halt progress. The reason you've not seen any updates on it recently, you may remember from about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, something like that. The reason you've not seen any updates on it recently is because I'd misplaced my magnets. So I wanted to magnetise his left arm at least, and possibly his right arm as well, but I'd misplaced them, and I had to halt progress on the build until I located the magnets. But I found the magnets now. They were in the unit behind me, basically, and I didn't know where they were, but now I've found them. So you should see some updates on that in the not too distant future, hopefully, as well as further future updates on Ghazghkull and Makari. So thanks very much for watching, and stay tuned for future content. Before you go, don't forget to give the video a like if you've enjoyed it. Any questions you've got, you can ask in the comments below. There's a button here for you to subscribe if you've not already done so, and a Patreon link here if you'd like to support the channel. There's also a couple of videos here for you to check out at your leisure. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the battlefield.